ending class on Tuesday. If you're ever under Austin, I'm going to call him over. Austin is not, I'm not seeing Austin today. Hi Austin, how you doing?
Great.
We got a little warm in here. I showed a speech about blood donation, and Austin nearly passed out. And I'm sorry that you had to go through all the rigmarole, but I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah.
And you got some food. I think you're a little low on sugar.
Yes, I even brought some food just in case.
You eat away. All hours. All right, and I can bring you some coffee. That. I'm glad you're okay. And we are also going to do an exercise of getting to know one another today. Handshaking with your neighbor and saying, how do you do? Baby, how do you do? Do you remember the Zach Wall speech that I showed you? He spoke in front of the Iowa House Judiciary Committee back in 2011. Yeah. I was trying to find rhetoric on the other side. And wow, there's a lot of hate speech in our country. And I ultimately ditched the effort. And I don't want to stay issue-based. And so I'm going to present all sorts of political views and views on issues. I'm not endorsing any one side. I criticize the left, the right, and the middle of the same. And so I ultimately decided not to present the voice, the most soft opposing rhetoric that I could find, soft and delivered, softly delivered, was from the statement of the Iowa Concerned Women for America, and Tamara Scott is the Iowa director. And so I did embed her rhetoric in the PowerPoint that I'll post this week for the notes. So if you want to view the other side, you can. I just don't want to stay focused on that issue, and I just don't. I want to move on. So I thought it's important to provide and look at at least two different perspectives, especially when we consider criticism. There's a lot of fallacy in Tamara's argument. Hers is a 5-minute public speech. And so her argument is not as well structured as Zach, and that has nothing to do with the issue, that has to do with the argument construction. And so I would invite you to watch that. Now the national director, and her name is Susan Wright, for the Concerned Women of America special interest group, provides a pretty succinct, well-structured argument in a minute and a half, and I also included that, and I just put that in the notes. And so you'll see that. I had worked up my notes, I had practiced, and I had tried to tell me what I was going to say, but I ultimately took it over her argument fallacy, gaps in her argument. She takes a slippery slope approach to argument, which, and she makes she draws faulty conclusions and has weak analogies, and so it has nothing to do with how I feel about the issue. I don't think bring that in class, like I said. I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't expose you to it. But you can look at it for yourself if you like. I will share with you Bill Davison, for Stark County Treasurer, an Ohio GOP candidate for a county seat. And also, I think it's a little more exciting than blood donation. And so I think you'll enjoy that message today. So that's what I have on the agenda. And of course, we have to take the in-class quiz as well today. We didn't have a chance to take that on Tuesday, and so, well, I do have your attendance. The only quizzes that you will be able to receive credit for would be the one today in class, or the D2L quiz available to you. It's crazy, there were 2 quiz 3s that popped up. I closed the one that was That is actually my form. So there are 11 of you that I need to email and invite you to the quiz 3 that is available. Take that at any time. You can always take both. I would invite you to take both because there's no way that I can speak about all of the topics that are assigned in your reading. And it's a good review for the final exam, which is inclusive of all of the topics through the semester. It's comprehensive. And so you would see those questions again on the final. I use some of those questions on the final. And so I would certainly invite you to take that quiz online, especially if you're in class and hearing the questions and receiving the 10 points for being in class, essentially. Also, just a reminder, the thesis statement assignment is due next week. So even if you have lab, I was speaking to a young lady that has lab tomorrow. You're not going over those thesis statements tomorrow. You go over those next week. All of the lab instructors are prepared to help you fine-tune and tweak your central ideas, your persuasive speeches. Today we'll be going over exactly what you need to do in order to prepare your persuasive speeches and your thesis statements, and to also start to develop those mini, M-I-N-I, mini thesis statements that some people refer to those as supporting points or main points that we call them to develop as well. The preparation outline, that's only for you. That is a worksheet for you. And so you use that to build your speech, and then you submit a final typewritten outline to your lab instructor the day that you speak. So use that as a worksheet, as a way to organize your speech from what it is that I'm calling on you to structure your speech. Just know that you only submit the final outline on the day of your speech. I'm right on that, right, Sammy?
Yeah, and that's the one paper copy of an item that we get the entire semester. Everything else.
That's about the only paper thing.
Then the note cards. Then the note cards that go with it.
Right. So I'm not doing you a disservice, right? I only have clear on that. And then also by next week is the annotated bibliography. Is the Dropbox open on that?
And yeah, I believe it is.
Okay. Make sure that some of you have got that done. Or they've got that done. That's easy. But we had to account for the labs that were still meeting, so that is due by next week. It is probably a distant memory for most of you. So, any questions on the assignments or what's coming up? What expectations? Keep up with your reading. I'll know that if you take the quiz today, and I kind of humble you. So, look at the reading. Don't worry, I'm going to walk you through. That's what we have coming up. We talked about introductions, conclusions. We saw the blood donation speech the other day in class. Did we talk about conclusions? Maybe we didn't get there, did we? Types of conclusions. These are pretty straightforward. There are different strategies that you should use when you end your speech. Certainly that should be summarizing and cue your audience in the fact that you're nearing the end of your speech. Mark Twain, I love Mark Twain. Public speaking is not that difficult. You tell your audience what you're going to say, you speak, and then you tell them what you just said. You might quote someone. Another strategy would be making a personal reference, maybe a personal appeal to the general or to a specific person. You might challenge the audience. You might call into action. You might offer a utopian vision of what could be if you would, be convinced by their argument. And you might have a chance to refer back to the same introductory approach that you did. Remember the cryonic speech where she said, think again of your mother or your father lying motionless. She went back to that narrative strategy. She revisited that same strategy. So, or maybe you'll say, so think of the statistic I began with. You refer back to previously stated material. So those are some different approaches that you might consider as you plan your speech. We're asking you to write that out word for word. You'll see that on your preparation outline, and so we support you pretty heavily in the planning of that. I would suggest that you create and work on the content of your speech and what it is that you have to say before you go to your intro and your conclusion. and make sure that you clearly connect these two important segments, the intro and the conclusion, to your main ideas. Keep it relatively brief, but yet attain some of the goals. Wrap up your major ideas. You need to have a clear indication of how your students should respond, or if you're calling on them to take action. Maybe you're saying, so consider recycling your wine bottles today. And interestingly enough, did you know that? You don't have a glass recycling in Vermillion? I have to haul all my wine bottles. Not a lot, but that is on camera, isn't it? That's great.
Yeah. And it's going on YouTube.
Consider summarizing memorably. You know, more so than, oh, that's the end of my speech. Now, you're more creative than that, and we're calling on you to think about and strategize a strong intro and conclusion. Make sure that you practice your conclusion. You need to know that word for word. You need to maintain that connection with your audience. You need to maybe make some emphasis and drive home that point, and so you can't lose that connection with the people that are gathered there listening to you. Yes?
Can you go back to the other slide?
You're writing this down word for word. This is right out of your book too. I'm sorry. I'm a fast talker. I also want to put a plug in for our presentation center. You should make use of that place. Drop in. We're going to have some speech clinics in which I see the smile and I'm so excited and all, you know, like, speech clinics that are designed to help you with your entire speech, portions of your speech. Maybe you want to walk in and say, how does this sound? Can you help me? I'm a little nervous about speaking in front of my lab section. I'm nervous for whatever reason. Any sort of apprehension can be addressed. These folks are professionals, and then your instructors. It is staffed by our graduate teaching assistant faculty group. And so if you'd like to know when your instructor's in there, or if you want to be not in there, maybe you want to reach out to someone else, whatever, find out by going to the pieces on the portal. We also have a Facebook page. Everyone has a Facebook page these days. So you can search for us by USD Presentation Center on Facebook. We have faculty and students alike making use of our services. I'm going to one of Betty Smith's political science classes this fall, and talking to senior students about quality mediated presentations. Those are PowerPoint presentations, as you know. And so make use of that service. The hours, we have kind of a range of hours, but we do offer ourselves 40 hours a week. The nice thing is we have Sunday and evening hours. Right, Elena? That's a good thing, right?
6 to 9.
6 to 9. Yeah, Monday through Thursday. And then
Sunday through Thursday.
To meet your every week. Make sure that the conclusion is truly the conclusion. I've seen false starts to conclusions in which the student goes back and they reintroduce some new material and then it becomes murky and disorganized. Make sure that you are strategic and you truly plan and start a deliberate conclusion, and that you write it out word for word. You know it. Practice that, and also practice how it is that you speak. Your paravocalics, your vocal tone, your rate, your pitch, your volume. I'm deliberately trying to speak slower because I speak too fast. And I know that, I'm aware of that. So if I were you, and I've been in your shoes many times, continue to speak publicly. I practice the rate of my speech. One of my favorite things when I was actually teaching lab sections, and I taught a lot of lab sections in Old Main. Does anyone have a lab section in Old Main? I love that building. That just feels like an academic institution, doesn't it? But I would tell my students, walk in there. Those rooms were remodeled here about a decade ago, and they were remodeled for small group settings, and particularly students and faculty who were speaking. So the acoustics, they consider the height and the length of the room. Go in there and bounce your voice off the back wall and see how that works. And I try to do that. If I have to speak, if I'm called on to speak in the ballroom, I ask, how many sections will be open, because that makes a difference on how I speak. I'll ask if there's a microphone, because that makes a difference. So know your speaking things. You can practice that. We have open access to all of the facilities here at the university because you're a student. Okay, we ready to go on? Part 2 speech? Okay, this is what you need to know to complete your persuasive speech. Okay, we've gone through each one of these parts except the transitions, which I'll tell you in a moment. We talked about a thesis, a mini thesis, introduction. I've introduced you to rhetorical proofs. Well, actually, Mr. Bill Muller introduced that topic. We need to give you a little bit of information about that before you started preparing your persuasive speech. We'll talk about transitions and conclusions. So think about, remember what a thesis is, okay? A thesis statement or central idea to your speech for this assignment, I'm asking you to conform to this assignment, is 7 words or less. You need to quantify that and look at and analyze what it is that you're saying and make sure that it is 7 words or less. A brief thesis statement is easy to remember, it's easy to isolate, and it will be that organizing principle for this persuasive speech. It can be simple, it can be eat red meat. Now before you go forth with something like that, you would want to provide a thorough audience analysis. If I were to give that type of persuasive speech, eat red meat, I would want to assess the attitudes and values and beliefs of my audience. How might I do that? Well, you could pass out a survey the lab prior, you could work with your lab instructor. They'll let you survey your lab section. You might make use of Survey Monkey. Has anyone ever done that? I've done that before, that's kind of fun. There is a survey tool in D2L, so if you are really ambitious, come and see me and we'll work up a survey just for your lab section. And you can invite them to take a survey online. So you want to know what their attitudes, values, and beliefs are in terms of eating red meat. My husband and I happen to be beef producers, and so I eat a lot of red meat. But I realize that I'm addressing potentially some vegetarian or vegan diet preferences as well, right? Eat red meat. Marilyn Monroe is a good actress. That might be another central idea. That's the statement. Or maybe you want to use something simple like, honey is healthy. Those are just 3 that I worked up that you might consider. Remember the example I gave the other day in class? It was a 3-word thesis statement. Smoking is bad. And I said smoking is bad for 3 reasons, right? We're going to ask you to enumerate that. Smoking is bad. Smoking is bad because, Smoking is bad. Smoking is bad for 3 reasons. Smoking is unhealthy, smoking is unattractive, and smoking is illegal. There you go. A thesis statement and 3 mini thesis statements. They should be memorable. I'm going to ask you to use some sort of speaking gimmick or scheme in order to make those memorable. Your mini theses are similar in structure to your thesis in that they too, for this speech, will be 7 words or less. And they should answer the question for your audience, why should I believe this thesis? It is the supporting evidence that they need in order to believe your central idea, your thesis statement, your claim. Give them reasons to believe you. Honey gives you health benefits, honey gives you a beauty boost, and honey gives you a sugar alternative. Wow, I can't read my own handwriting. Honey is healthy. Honey gives you health benefits. Honey gives you a beauty boost. Honey gives you a sugar alternative. That might be an idea. You might make use of using the same word in your mini thesis statement, the same first word. Maybe you want to use a common middle phrase. Maybe you want to end with the same word. Right? Those are 3 different schemas that you might make use of when you construct your thesis statements. I've seen students rhyme their mini theses. They're very creative and they rhyme, and it's memorable for them. It's memorable for their audience. You'll need to memorize these for your speech as well, and so that will help you organize your thoughts. And most likely, you will be able to remember and recall your red meat. Nutrition is in red meat. Profit is in red meat. And safety is in red meat. That's a way of strategizing 3 thesis statements in support of eat red meat, ending with red meat. There you go. Pretty simplistic. I'm asking you to conform for this assignment. We are trying to organize 462 people and teach you some of the founding principles of persuasive arguments. Where it becomes complex are with the rhetorical proofs, right? Remember Bill? Bill and his examples of how to provide a rhetorical proof for your audience by way of supporting material and reasoning. Reasoning is what you put forth, and it provides that mental leap so that your audience can understand and can deduce what it is that you're saying. There are reasons to believe the mini thesis, and they're supported after each mini thesis. And you have to be very strategic and credible when you build your rhetorical proofs. And how do we build our credibility as a speaker? What are ways in which we showcase that we are a trusted voice standing in front of an audience? What do you think? You just look good? You do look good. You're a handsome bunch. You're beautiful. You do. You pull yourself together and you look polished and you're ready for the day. But also, what about your words? What about your material? Where is that coming from? Yeah, research. You'll need to qualify your sources. So you say, according to statistics, well, heck, where did those statistics come from? Qualify those. Explain how it is that you've done your research. Tell us, that this is a credible piece of evidence for which you're relying on. And so you're going to build your rhetorical proofs on credible pieces of evidence, your own personal experience, or hypothetical narratives that someone might identify with. All underneath this simplistic structure. Pretty easy, right? And in addition to that, you have to bridge the ideas by using transitions. You have to bridge your ideas, help give that audience the audio roadmap. I need to write that in a journal. That is an Amy Thornton. You provide the audio roadmap that your audience uses as they listen to your speech, as they join you in your journey of public speaking. And so transitions provide signposts, just like road signs. You give signals as to where you're going in your speech. First, I will talk about why red meat is healthy. Or secondly, I will talk about the profits in the red meat industry, what have you. But those are the words that you plan to guide your audience. Transitions can be verbal or nonverbal. How might a transition be nonverbal? What do you see as people are shifting from idea to idea? Walking, movement, gesture, posture. That's a study of kinesics, right? Your own kinesiology here at USD. But human movement. If you enumerate your main points, you might make use of a speaker's triangle. Well, that just is kind of funny. My first point is, secondly, and third. And you move around a triangle. Or you might giggle. But the alternative is that I've critiqued students before for movement that was not deliberate and planned, and therefore it was distracting. What kind of distracting movements have you seen speakers do? The pace.
Yeah,
Each of the day we see the pace.
I gotta go dance.
Yeah, I gotta go dance.
I got they're
Yeah.
shifting around their feet around. We see it. We saw it all the time last year. Their feet, which it's like they had to go to the bathroom or like keep your feet still, stand still.
Well, it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it is. It is nerve-wracking.
Jerry cheese. It is. When you're faced with stress, you have conscious and unconscious adaptive, right? Is anyone a pen tapper in here? Come on, all you pen tappers. Someone tap a pen right now. How about the knee shakers? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. How about the sniffers? Oh, come on. You take a test and you don't realize how many of you have sniffers. Unconscious adapters to actually communicate something. How that translates to public speaking is what I see when people take their feet, or they start to lose their posture and their poise. They might stick a hand on their head, they might twirl their hair. So, we've written that into the rubric too, is that how is your posture? How are you poised to speak? How are you conveying what message are you conveying verbally and non-verbally? And so think about your movement, your gesture, and your voice. Things about your voice that are important. Your tone, your pitch, your volume, your speaking rate, etc. Silence and use of silence. Wow, be silent in front of a crowd of 146. It takes a lot of confidence, trust me. That's why I speak so fast too, because you feel the need to fill that space. But silence can be very powerful as well, if used right. Verbally, a complete transition, and this comes right out of your textbook. A complete transition consists of an internal review, a signpost, and then an internal preview. So you tell them what you just talked about. Now that we've talked about the history of Kranich, you might be wondering about how much it costs. Or, what's been done? Oh, yeah, sure. We hadn't thought about that before, but thanks for setting the agenda. Those types of things do help guide your audience through and cue them where it is that you're going. Any questions on this so far? Well, as I was planning my lecture, I thought you'd get to this point and be like, okay, with talking. So I will. We'll watch the speech of the day. And I'm going to provide my little cheat sheet, I think, through D2L next week, too. This was not created by me. This was created by a wonderful graduate teaching assistant that she has graduated and gone on to the professional world. So she created parts of a speech cheat sheet. And in it, this is your preparation outline and rubric all combined in one with some pretty good examples of what to do and how to do it. It's pretty formulaic, and so if you need that support, I'm going to give that to you. So I'll post Teresa's cheat sheet in detail. Don't let me forget that, please, Jeremy.
Okay.
Okay. The speech of the day, we're not going to see that well. We're going to see Mr. Bill Davidson. Okay, now Mr. Bill Davidson, just to give you a little bit of context to this speech, was a Republican candidate for the Suffolk County Treasurer in Ohio, okay, in 2010. And, yeah, this one, too, also went viral back then. And I want to just read his speech before we see Phil give this speech. It's a 5-minute speech. And he says, ladies and gentlemen of the Stark County Republican Party Executive Committee, good evening. And thank you not only for your attendance, but for allowing me the opportunity to speak. It's a good intro, right? He's referring to the speech situation. He's addressing the proper authorities and those leaders. And he says his name. My name is Bill Davidson, and I'm seeking our party's nomination for the position of Stark County Treasurer on November 2010. He has some filler words in here. This is a direct transcription. In terms of my background, I am from the village of Minerva. Very nice little town in the village. That's kind of cute. Where I'm serving my 13th year. And then he goes on to talk about his purpose. He quotes Albert Einstein. He makes very, very solid and clear claims. We will not tolerate incompetence and irresponsibility any longer. And it looks good, doesn't it? And he gets to this all the way to his conclusion with, I'm Phil Davidson, GOP candidate. Oh wait, where is that? Where is this conclusion? Oh, well, it is the end here. I humbly ask for your vote as a member of the Stark County Republican Party Executive Committee. Thank you. So structurally and content speaking, this guy's got it going on. Watch his delivery. I just shamelessly use it. Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Stark County Republican Party Executive Committee, good evening, and thank you not only for your attendance, but for allowing me the opportunity to speak. My name is Bill Davidson, and I am seeking our party's nomination for the position of Stark County Treasurer on November of 2010. Excuse me. In terms of my background, I am from the village of Minerva, where I'm serving my 13th year of elected service as a Minerva Council member. In terms of education, I have a bachelor's degree in sociology, a bachelor's degree in history, a master's degree in public administration, and a master's degree in communication. In terms of elections across Stark County, I have represented our party twice on the county ballot in both the primaries and the general elections. When I ran for Stark County Clerk of Courts in 1996 and Stark County Commissioner in 2000, and I will not apologize for my tone tonight. I am a Republican, and God is good, and I am a Republican, and God is bad. Albert Einstein issued one of my most favorite quotes in the history of the spoken word. It is as follows. In the middle of opportunity. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. I'm going to repeat that so I have clarity tonight. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. This is the opportunity we've been waiting for. The Stark County Treasurer's Office is a mess. It is another needing of structure and guidance. And now is the time to seize this opportunity with an aggressive campaign and an even more aggressive campaigner. If nominated tonight, I promise each and every person in this room, I will hit the ground running, come out swinging, and there's no winning. Let's send a message tonight to the people of Stark County and to the people of the Stark County Democratic Party. We're tired of business as usual. Drastic times require what? Drastic measures, yes! We'll get there. We will not tolerate incompetence and irresponsibility any longer. Now is the time to snap the Democratic stranglehold on the Treasurer's Office in two. And I harken back to what my friend Alex just said. He ran against the Treasurer in 1996. It was a problem then, it's a problem now. Infestation. Politics is not touch football. Politics is winner take all. It always has been, and it always will be. If nominated tonight, I want to develop and expand my campaign for what I believe is the greatest strength of the Stark County Republican Party, and that is its people. I believe in the axiom that all politics is local. Because of this belief, I want to harness the thoughts and ideas that individuals in our party have. Concerning Stark County, it is political subdivision. Use that to its fullest extent. Knowledge is power. Let's tap into this knowledge and use it as a tool to win the Treasurer's Office. Let's use this knowledge not only as a tool, but as a weapon. We must win this election. If nominated tonight, I will win this election. And I'm going to say that again, so there's no miscommunication tonight. If nominated tonight, I win. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell Randy Gonzalez. I promise. Both barrels, guns loaded. I believe in the entities and the principles of the National Republican Party, the state of Ohio, Republican Party and the Stark County Republican Party. And if nominated, I will not hide those beliefs on my march to victory on election day. If nominated tonight, I can guarantee with 100% certainty that what you are seeing from me tonight is what everyone outside those doors is going to get over the next 8 weeks. I used to be an idealistic thinker. I am now a pragmatic thinker. Government may be about service, politics is about winning. Tonight, as a candidate seeking the Republican nomination for the position of Stark County Treasurer, I humbly ask for your vote as members of the Stark County Republican Party Executive Committee. Thank you.
Is it better than blood donation? Oh.
I wish you could have kind of, I wish you would have done the presentation center before doing the speech.
He did not.
Bill?
To the advent of the iPhone and YouTube, he did not.
Now, if you would have read that in the newspaper,
As we did before the advent of technology, he might have won, right? Let's look at some of, it's easiest to critique his delivery, so let's start right here looking at his content and his organization first. Tell me some of the elements, some of the supporting material that he used that might have worked, had it not been overshadowed by delivery. Yeah, he certainly used emphasis, but great. What about the phrasing, the words, the content of the speech?
He was definitely qualified.
Yeah, he definitely built his credibility, right? He has a master's degree in communication. Another one, yeah. And he used a quote he used an Einstein quote. When you use quotes, make sure you know the quote. Yeah, especially when you call it your favorites. Use quotes. He used signs throughout, he used analogies. Use brief and extended examples. I've been a Republican in times good. I've been a Republican in times bad. He crafted pretty memorable word structure. He made use of maxims, which we talk about briefly. I think it's mentioned briefly in your textbook. Knowledge is power, you know, and he said knowledge is a tool, and I'm going to use it as a weapon. And so that's a sign that it backfired on him because we might deduce what he would use with his power. He asked rhetorical questions. He asked direct questions. He said, drastic times call for what? Drastic. He said, what? He said, drastic measure, yes. Who said that? And that person you know is sitting there going, don't intimidate your audience. Yeah. And I learned this early on, actually the hard way. When you are working with an audience and asking them to answer direct questions, you have to wait for the response and never call anyone out and never put anyone down in front of a crowd. And say, no, that's not it. There's nothing that will curb the discussion faster than discouragement. Okay, so now let the floodgates open. What did he do in terms of delivery that compromised the message? Tone, yep, paralinguistically. Is it tone? What's that? Didn't always speak to you. He was pacing, he was running. I often wonder if he had hired a speechwriter. Because when I write something, don't you have that? When you construct something, you know it. And this poor fellow didn't know it. But he had a lot of communication anxiety that came out. When you get scared, if you get frightened in front of an audience, you can have some physical responses. I don't have to tell you that, right? You can have some physical responses to that pain. You can have an accelerated heartbeat. Your diaphragm constricts, and so you're not able to take a deep breath. That was happening to him. He was panting in front of the audience, trying to pant in front of the audience. Something to kind of bring a smile to your face, but it does drive home some real points. And so I hope that you enjoyed that. I realized after seeing people on those textbook speeches and probably some real life examples. one for attendance, otherwise you'll show up as a 90%. You get 85 or 90% in the quiz reports of everyone. So you're doing yourself a disservice if you do. All right, the second question. This is in review of what we've been talking about. This is an element of your speech introduction, which previews how you will develop your speech in the speech body. The speaker does this by, I should say dividing, not dividing. You can't just do the same. By dividing the body of the speech into selected categories, such as, first I will explain, second I will elaborate on, and finally I will conclude. Is this the one introductory, is it an introductory strategy? Is it 2, the partition step, 3, a signpost, or 4, none of the above? Remember, you can refer to your notes, you can talk to your neighbor. Get this question right.